The following is a production of CUTV Sports.
And welcome to Redstone Field in the town of Republic, Pennsylvania, as the Brownsville Falcons look to take on the Mount Pleasant Vikings in a matchup of two different teams tonight. Joining me is Cody Jeanette. I'm Zach Lamar, and Cody, I mentioned it just now, Mount Pleasant coming in 7-0, Brownsville 0-7. Brownsville looking to upset the Vikings. We look at their last game now.
Yeah, Mount Pleasant had the big victory against Washington to get their 7th win on the season with a 47-22 score, and Brownsville fell to Southmoreland last week 23-6. So Brownsville's coming back home. They're hungry, and Mount Pleasant, you know, as strong as they are coming in, they're the visitors today. It's the It just spells a good matchup, because when you take into account of all the fervor that may be happening.
Absolutely. We look at the last time these two teams played back October 19th, 2012. That was a year and 1 day ago. Mount Pleasant at home, they won 48-0. And Mount Pleasant looking for the same result. Brownsville hoping to at least get on the scoreboard tonight.
Yeah, and I have a feeling that they will here tonight, being in front of the home fans and everything. I'm the kind of guy that always has a knack for the team that has home field advantage.
And now, Cody, we're going to look at the tail of the tape, brought to you by JD Waterproofing. Mount Pleasant really outplaying Brownsville in every category. The one, Brownsville, they've lost 16 in a row. That's 2 years of losing. So Brownsville itching for a win. I know Coach Von Braddock really wants the Falcons to return to their pride of the old style of play back in the early 90s, late 80s, when they were a very successful football team. Mount Pleasant averaging over 40 points on offense. They're going to be a very high-powered team to stop tonight.
Yeah, they're really itching to get the win to stop the streak today. Every single game that happens, they want it even more, and that's what's really remarkable about it. You know, it's up to 16, but they don't want it to go any higher than that, as they did 1, 2, 5, 10 games ago. You know, they don't want any streak like that. So they're wanting to get it back on the right track.
Absolutely. And when we come back, we'll have kickoff here on CUTV.
CUTV is your home for local high school football action. Sundays at 8:30, Thursdays at 5:30, only on CUTV.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Something's not right.
My first symptoms were
constant tingling in my toes.
Had double vision. They said you have multiple sclerosis.
Kind of had to get a grasp on reality.
I had to adapt and change very rapidly.
I had to learn how to drive with my hands. Yeah, that was interesting.
A symptom may cause you not to be able to do that anymore. And at one point, I wasn't able to do any of those.
Since I've been cycling, it's definitely helped my walking.
It's a fantastic opportunity to be working together with a common goal of curing MS, and sharing is the key.
Watch CUTV online anytime, anywhere. Check out your favorite original programs, coverage of the biggest events on campus, and cheer on your Vulcan sports teams. CUTV, Log on, tune in now. Visit cutv.calu.edu/live.
CUTV's High School Football Game of the Week is brought to you in part by First Niagara Bank. JD Waterproofing. UPMC Health Plan. The Physical Therapy Institute. Lee Supply Company, as well as Trip Total Media. And Cody, we're back here at Redstone Field, home of the Brownsville Falcons. The captains for both teams are out there now at around midfield at the 50-yard line, getting the coin toss. We'll have to see in a moment who will receive. We're about to get the ref's call now. And I believe Mount Pleasant will receive. So the Vikings of Mount Pleasant will get the ball first, Cody. Brownsville's, their defense is going to have to stop them early if they want a chance.
Yeah, the team that scores first really makes an impact in any game, and Brownsville doesn't want that to happen. But Zach, it's been it's a good night for football, in my opinion. It's a kind of chilly night, but not too chilly, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely, 52 degrees, 6-mile-an-hour winds, and usually we put 0% chance of rain. We have to put 1 tonight because you can never say never, Cody, when it comes to weather and rain. I like to say all weathermen lie, in my opinion, because I could walk outside, it'd be a sunny day, and all of a sudden it pours on me, and I will not be very happy. But nonetheless, the forecast, we have some nice skies. The sun is setting in the background. We have a couple stars look like they're about to start shining too. There's one up there. And kickoff is about to commence. Looks like number 11 for Brownsville will be kicking away, and that is Byron Myers. He is a junior, so he will be doing the kicking duties for Brownsville. And we'll have to see who the returner is from Mount Pleasant. Hard to make out his number from our vantage point where we are, Cody, but I'm sure when we look on our replay, we'll be able to tell who it is.
Brownsville looking to send this one deep, get this game started on a really good note. 12 fresh minutes are on the clock. Both of these teams are ready to go. It's Friday Night Lights time here in the Republic of Pennsylvania.
And Myers' kick is away. It is taken at about the 17-yard line. Has some return room. Still room to work, and he is finally taken down around the 37-yard line. So a return of 20 right there. Look like number 25 for Mount Pleasant. That is Brett Fess. He's a junior running back / middle linebacker.
Brett Fess looking to get some good blocks up the middle, and he did get a few of them, but then one of the Brownsville defenders was able to swap at one of his legs, and that was enough to trip him up, and the Vikings will set up shop from there.
And the quarterback for Mount Pleasant is Ryan Gambita. He's a junior quarterback / safety, and he will keep it himself on the first play. He is at midfield, and he will look to go to distance. He's at the 20. He's at the 10, and he is taken down just short of the goal line, about the 4-yard line. A long run there, Cody. About a 49-yard run on the first play of the game from Gambita.
Yeah, talk about making a first impression. Gambita going straight through the middle and finding all of the open real estate that he can to send the Vikings far down the field, as if it were still the kickoff return. You could easily mix the two plays together by how far and how fast he was able to run.
Yeah, that might be the style of play we see tonight. Mount Pleasant, they come in averaging 40 points a game. They strike early. They could be well on their way to that again tonight. Gambita well under center, has a handoff, outside run play, and Mount Pleasant will get into the end zone. So it's an early 6-0 lead. That is Brett Fess. He returned the kickoff before, Cody, and puts Mount Pleasant on the board first tonight.
Brett Fess once again on the run here. Got the kickoff return and got the touchdown run as well, giving the Vikings an early 6-0 lead pending the extra point. And the Mount Pleasant Vikings have struck first here tonight.
A very quick score. 11:23 still left on the clock in the first quarter. That only took 37 seconds, Cody. 49 yards on one play as well. Now the kick is up. and it is good. So when we come back here on CUTV, Mount Pleasant looks to defend their first score. They are up 7-0 early on Brownsville.
You're watching CUTV, California University Television.
And we welcome you back to Redstone Field. Mount Pleasant with an early 7-0 lead. And the kicker for Mount Pleasant is number 16, but Cody, he's not listed on our roster. With this roster we got must be from training camp early in the season. The kick will be taken about the 16-yard line. Not a lot of return room to work with. Looks like number 46 for the Falcons. He'll be taken down about the 21-yard line, number 46. I have to scan our roster here real fast. Or, excuse me, that's actually 45. Thank you, Cody. That's Dominique Gregory. He is a senior this year, looking to make a mark on some of his last opportunities this year.
Yeah, Dominique didn't necessarily have that much room to work with. Mount Pleasant's defense was really quick to collapse on the spot where the ball landed, and able to get him down quickly and pin the Falcons deep in their own territory.
Now Brownsville will start with the ball at about the 21-yard line. Start their first offensive drive, and the snap is botched. Looks like Brownsville will recover that. That is number 12 for the Falcons, I believe. Actually, no, 32. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. It's hard to tell the numbers from up here. That is Shane Roebuck. He's a junior quarterback.
Yeah, Shane Roebuck couldn't really tell if it was if the center was to blame or if the ball just bobbled in and out of his hands. The play happened too quickly. So the snap might have been low, too, to make it all awkward. But Brownsville now even pushed farther back. It's a second down and way long for the Falcons.
It looks like second down. And they're going to spot the ball at about 11, so second down and 20. Roebuck back to pass, completes it to number 5 for Brownsville out to about the 17-yard line. Number 5 is Marcellus Grooms. He is a sophomore wide receiver, and we look at the replay here, Cody.
It was a good screen pass to get the Falcons a little bit of breathing room. It's a short gain, but still, it puts the pressure off of the Falcons just that much more, so they don't have necessarily their backs against the wall or their heels against the wall. They have a little bit of breathing room there now.
Now it's going to be about third and about 14, Cody. So Brownsville's going to have to work really hard here if they want to get down the field, convert for a new set of downs. It's going to be a run play up the middle. There's a little bit of room, though, but he is met from behind at about the 24-yard line. That is number 11 for the Falcons. That is Byron Myers. He was the kicker and the first kickoff of the game. Now he is the running back for the Falcons.
Yeah, and that's the able to find a hole and take advantage of what he could. But unfortunately, it wasn't enough for the Falcons. They're forced to a 3-and-out on their first offensive drive of the game. They're not are they lining up for a punt, Zach? Looks like they are.
It looks like they are. There's number 7, Keyshawn Gregory. He is a junior. Looks like he's going to punt the ball away on 4th and 8 for the Falcons. Returner for Mount Pleasant, stationed about the 46-yard line, his own territory. The punt is away. It's a short, wide punt. Goes out of bounds right at midfield. So Mount Pleasant with very good starting field position for their second offensive drive. Look to add to their early score. That was 7-0.
And if you take a look at the interstate conference standings here, Mount Pleasant sitting at the top, clinching that first playoff spot with a 7-0 record. Brownsville sitting at the bottom with their 0-7 record. Two opposite teams on the spectrum here tonight. So that's the that's one thing that can really strive a team forward is like, how often do you get to say, if you're a team that might be slacking as much as Brownsville, that you took down one of the top teams in the conference?
Absolutely, Cody. They're going to look to do that tonight. Gambita back to pass. Under some pressure. He is hit as he throws. Almost intercepted around the 17-yard line. Gambita took a big hit right there. And I'll look on the replay.
And I'll tell you what, Zach, if the Brownsville defender gave the quarterback that extra split second, the receiver would have easily caught that and ran into the end zone for another touchdown. That was enough to change the play, just that much for it to tip in and out of the hands of the defender and miss his route by that much.
And that was number 19, Devin Braddock. And funny note here, in our roster, it says that he's in grade 19. I'm sure it's a typo, but a funny little note there. But now number 7 for Mount Pleasant has the running room. He is going to take it all the way to the house on the ground again for the Vikings. Number 7, that is Tivler Mellers on the run. Gives Mount Pleasant a 2-possession score early on in the game.
It is now 13-0 pending the extra point, and able to find some big running room on the outside. The ground game for the Vikings has been really, really great so far, putting a lot of points up on the board. Just 8:40 left to go in the first quarter and already 2 touchdowns. That says a lot about your offense.
Now the extra point opportunity for the Vikings. It is up, and it is good. So Mount Pleasant strikes yet again their second offensive possession, makes it 14-0 on your First and Anchor scoreboard. When we come back, we'll have more action on CUTV.
CUTV is your home for local high school football action. Sundays at 8:30, Thursdays at 5:30, only on CUTV.
You're watching CUTV, California University Television.
And welcome back to Redstone Field. Brownsville about to receive the kick. It is in the air. Taken about the 23-yard line. A little bit of return room out to around the 33. So a gain of 10. That was number 15 for the Falcons on the return.
And on the return, that was Devontae Stafford looking for some room to give Brownsville some good field position after their first drive. It was forced to a 3-and-out. So they're looking to bounce back after that and get some offensive production, convert some first downs, make those small little plays that matter in a team marching down the field to get themselves back into this game and not let it get carried away early on.
Yeah, they score here, Cody. They're right back into this one. Number 32, Shane Roebuck. Confused his number with number 12 earlier in the broadcast, and it's unusual to see quarterbacks with such high numbers. Usually you see them in the 1 to 19 range like they do in the NFL. Roebuck going with the 32 tonight as he is back. Low snap again. It is a run play this time. Taken down in the backfield. Maybe got back to the line of scrimmage for about a gain of nothing, maybe a half a yard loss.
And on the run was number 11, Brian Fletcher, who after taking this another low snap, Zach, that seems to be a little bit of a problem here that Brownsville's having early on. With the low snaps, we saw one earlier in their previous drive go for the fumble and the loss way back in their own end. So that's the something they're probably going to have to work on and be careful with more so that the ball doesn't go back into the hands of the Vikings in a cheap way.
Yeah, there's 4 receivers in this set, Cody. In the shotgun, trips right, lone receiver to the left. It's going to be a fake handoff. Roebuck's going to take it himself. He gets right back to the original line of scrimmage. So no gain yet again on that play. It's going to bring up about 3rd and 10 for the Falcons. They need to convert here if they don't want to punt the ball away and find themselves, if Mount Pleasant scores again, down 3 possessions or possibly even more.
And there's 7 minutes and 30 seconds left to go in the first quarter. It's still very early on in this game. Plenty of football to be played left. 3 and a half full quarters, mind you, and more. So Brownsville does have plenty of time to work with, and they're going to have to manage that time effectively.
Now Now looks like the same set here in shotgun, sidecar to the right, trips right, and a lone receiver to the left. Roebuck is back to pass, under some pressure, has to get it away, and it is dropped. Hard to tell who that receiver is. It looks like number 11, Brian Fletcher. So they'll bring up 4th down yet again for the Falcons, and they'll have to punt it away for their 2nd consecutive trip.
Roebuck was under immense pressure there by one or two different Viking defenders, so Fletcher was probably his emergency dump pass to get the ball away and not be forced with a sack. But regardless of the turnout of the play, the punter has taken the field for the Falcons, and we will see them punt it away.
Yeah, number 25 for Mount Pleasant, Brett Fest, was leading the pressure. As now the punt is away, it's a long punt this time, and it is taken by Brownsville about the 34-yard line. Looks like number 22 for the Falcons. That is Dalton Holt. He is a freshman, I'm sure, getting some time on special teams. Now we look at Mount Pleasant's schedule. Cody, the big one last week at Washington, a team who, even without Shai McKenzie, had done really well this season. Big win over the Little Prexies, 47-22.
Yeah, that was a huge win for Mount Pleasant, getting it, and let alone one of that magnitude, getting 25 points more than your opponent. That really says a lot. So getting that win over Washington was vital.
Absolutely, Cody. And with that win, they have clinched at least a share of the conference title, have clinched a playoff spot. They're looking to make a deep run in postseason this season. That is a handoff up the middle, and Brownsville defenders are there to meet him for a gain of about 2 yards on the play, so they'll bring about 2nd and 8. Number 52 for the Falcons on the tackle, and that is Scott Gardner. He is a senior linebacker.
And it looked like the quarterback for the Vikings almost had a little bit of trouble with that snap. I saw the ball turn in his hands. I'm not sure if he did that on purpose or if he bobbled the snap a little bit, but maintaining good control there and able to hand it off to his running back cleanly.
They'll bring up 2nd and 8. Another run play. And that looks like it is going to be just enough for a 1st down. Maybe just a little bit short. Might force a very 3rd and short. That was number 7. That was Tyler Mellors. Scored earlier in the game. 2nd touchdown for Mount Pleasant. It looks like it's going to be a new set of downs for Mount Pleasant as the chains move. And
Mount Pleasant once again going with the ground game. I don't think we've seen them throw a single pass yet. They're really attacking this Brownsville defense, old school smash mouth style football, running it up the gut, getting any yards that they can, and it's proven effective so far.
Well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We see a pass here. That is incomplete. Receiver drops it. That was number 1, Brendan Ramella for Mount Pleasant. Pass hit him right in the chest. Now just not able to hold on to it, Cody.
Yeah, in and out of his hands. I'm sure he's wondering himself how he didn't catch it. Hit him square in the number. It just might have taken a weird bounce off of one of his chest protectors or his shoulder pad or something and caused him to drop it. But we'll never know as it's 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, the old phrase is catch it with your hands, not your chest. You want to get your hands out there and secure the ball before letting it actually get to you. As we have a end around play now. Some running room for Mount Pleasant. Still going, taken down about the 33-yard line in Brownsville territory. That is number 25, Brett Fess for the Vikings.
I'll tell you what, Zach, that was a fantastic motion move there before the snap by Fess. It looked like he was going to be in motion and just switch sides, but then halfway through his motion, snapped the ball and took the handoff while he was running in stride. That was fantastic footwork there by Fess and the rest of the offense.
Now another handoff. This is Tyler Mellors. He is on the outside. Still running, taken out about the 16-yard line. They'll actually mark him out about the 18-yard line, so won't give him as good field position. But Mount Pleasant, their running abilities so far tonight have been very extraneous against the Brownsville defense.
Yeah, we have seen only one pass, and it fell incomplete. So the running game has still proving to be effective, and it's working as they're threatening to score here once again. There's 5:25 left to go in the first. 14-0 in favor of Mount Pleasant already.
And there's actually 2 passes in the game, Cody, on the 2nd offensive drive for Mount Pleasant. The ball was tipped and almost intercepted by Brownsville. It was incomplete, though. It's now Mount Pleasant on another run. Tackler not able to get him. He is taken down about the 15-yard line. That's number 22 for the Vikings. That is Joe Lochner.
And Lochner had a little bit of room to work with, probably. able to avoid the horse collar tackle there. That was very fortunate there wasn't a penalty called on the Falcons. But I think if he would have gotten more of his jersey, it would have been called. But very fortunate for him as he's able to get more yards out of it.
We'll bring up 2nd and 7 from the 15-yard line. Mount Pleasant does not have to score on this one. They can also secure a new set of downs right around, I believe, the 8-yard line, Cody. So Mount Pleasant looking to get on the board yet again. Back to pass. This one is incomplete to number 7 for the Vikings. Or excuse me, that's actually number 17, Marcus Malera. He's a junior tight end. And that one will cause a movement of the chains, Cody.
It looked like he caught it, Zach.
Yeah, he did catch it. It's a catch, so he will move for the new set of downs. I guess you misheard me. I did say that it was a catch, so it'll be 1st and goal for the Vikings. Now it's going to be a run play. And the quarterback will keep it himself. That is Gambia. We saw him do that earlier. This time, getting nowhere as Shane Roebuck takes him down.
That was Brownsville's first solid defensive stand of the game so far, in my mind. The Vikings threatening to score, trying to run it up the middle and go up the gut, and Brownsville right there collapsing at the line of scrimmage and able to bring them down.
And I'll bring up 2nd and goal now for the Vikings. There's a few yard gain on the run play by Gambita. Brownsville, they're playing their goal line defense, stacking it up. And now we have a penalty flag. Look like we might see a false start here. Could also be encroachment. And we'll have to get the call from the referee momentarily, Cody. But Brownsville, they have to stop him here. 3:38 left as we get the call now. It's going to be encroachment against the Falcons. So that'll bring up 2nd and goal still. They'll put them about the 3-yard line, though. So Mount Pleasant even closer to scoring, which would put them up 20-0 with the conversion, the extra point, 21-0. That's a big lead still in the first quarter, too.
Yeah, and Brownsville doesn't want that to happen. They still want to get the ball back and put some points on the board to get them back in this game.
Gambita, as now we have another flag. This one is going to be a false start, so the penalty yardage from the offsides encroachment will go for not, as Mount Pleasant backs themselves up to about the 8-yard line again. Still 2nd and goal, though, with 3:20 left in the first quarter.
3:20 left, and the clock is still running, so we're seeing Mount Pleasant threatening to score here late in the first quarter, I beg your pardon, and get a 3-possession lead.
Now a couple players in motion for the Vikings. They send a receiver out. That is number 44. Do not have him on our roster, though, ladies and gentlemen, so we apologize for not knowing who exactly that is, as the run play goes nowhere. That is Tyler Mellors taken down about the 6-yard line, so gain of 2. It'll bring up 3rd and goal. Brownsville making a stand here, Cody.
Yeah, Brownsville's goal line defense so far is proving to be very, very effective, and that's the one thing that they're looking for. They're looking for any kind of spark right now, and if they can hold the Vikings to anything but a touchdown here, I think that's going to be a big spark for them coming out later in the game.
Absolutely. A field goal, although it extends the Mount Pleasant lead, Brownsville's defense knows that we didn't let them in the end zone, as we have a pass now from the Vikings, and it is complete. So what we just said goes all for naught, as number 17, Marcus Malera, he's the tight end. We mentioned before on the drive, he caught the first pass, catches that one there for 6 points.
Then it's 20-0 pending the extra point now for the Vikings. And on this pass, it looked like, at first it looked like to me that pass was going to have too much hang time and go soaring over the end zone, but it was able to drop in a perfect place for the receiver to catch it. And it puts 6 more on the board.
Now we are going to get the extra point opportunity. 2:15 left. And the kick is up. And it is good. So 2:15 left in the first quarter. Mount Pleasant up 21-0 early on the Brownsville Falcons. They will receive the ball when we come back on CUTV.
Need to know what's happening in your area? CUTV News Center brings you your best local news. Events on and around campus. Local weather. Falcon sports coverage. CUTV News Center, live, Thursdays at 5.
You are watching CUTV, California University Television.
And we are back here at Redstone Field. Mount Pleasant with their third touchdown so far. Still the first quarter, up 21-0 on Brownsville. They are back to receive the kick. Taking it about the 23-yard line, or excuse me, that's the 18-yard line. Get to about the 30, so a gain of 12. That is number 45. That is Dominique Gregory. He is a senior on the return.
Dominique Gregory once again looking to get some good blocks going up the middle, just like how it proved to be effective for Mount Pleasant. Brownsville got a little bit of a return out of that one, and they'll be setting up shop from the 29-yard line in their own end. And Zach, this is a big drive for the Falcons if they really want to get back into this game. If Mount Pleasant scores without them scoring first, I have a feeling they're going to run away with it.
Absolutely, Cody. Crucial drive here. It's still early, but has to be for the Falcons as we have a pitch now. And there's some running room at the 35, still going. Brian Fletcher taken out about the 35-yard line, so a gain of 6 on that play. We'll bring up 2nd and 4. That has to be the longest positive gain for the Falcons all game long, Cody.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, Brian Fletcher did not want to go down. He wasn't letting anything stopping him. Just take a look at these juke moves and spin moves here, ladies and gentlemen, trying to evade all of these defenders. Spectacular footwork there, but eventually just too many defenders got to him, too many for him to handle, so they took him down. But as you said, Zach, this is a big gain for the Falcons.
2nd and 4 now after the gain of 6 for the Falcons. Roebuck back in shotgun still. Fletcher behind him. He is going to pass. It's going to be complete to number 5 for Brownsville. Taken out about the 38-yard line, number 5 for the Falcons. Trying to scan that as Marcellus Grooms.
Marcellus Grooms on the reception, and that was a great reception by the Falcons, and that sets them up right at about the 38-yard line. It's 3rd down and short, it looks like. So they're faced with the 3rd down, but it's the shortest 3rd down that they're faced with, that they have faced so far in this game. And if they can convert that, it'll be their first down of the game.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be about a 3rd and 2, maybe even 1. Looks like they actually have the yard marker spotted at the 39, so it's going to be 3rd and 1 for the Falcons. We might see a run play again to Fletcher here. He's been running pretty well today. Longest gain is, of course, 6 yards in a couple plays ago. 3 receivers on this set. There's a fullback, so a little bit of a tight formation this time. The Falcons with the snap. Fletcher with the ball. He will get the 1st down, but there's a penalty flag on the play, Cody. We might see a holding call here against the Falcons based on where it was thrown from.
The Mount Pleasant coaches are signaling like it was against the Falcons, and they're pointing to march down the field, so it looks like they will accept it. Granted that I am reading their hand signals correctly.
And it's going to be a personal foul. It's a chop block. Not a call you see a lot in high school football, so a chop block called on the Falcons. That will back them up even farther, makes it from a 3rd and 1 to a very 3rd and long.
Yeah, and a chop block is usually a call that you would see on a kickoff return, if anything. You know, it's very rare to see one on a normal play on a 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th down, what have you. So a little bit of a unique experience here.
Yeah, Cody, an explanation of a chop block for those viewers at home who may not know the exact termination of it. When a player on the offensive line is engaged with a player from the defense, if another player comes and chops at his knees, that's a chop block. And I believe that's a 15-yard penalty that will spot them back at the 24-yard line. And it'll make it 3rd and 17 now for the Falcons. And it's a low snap. Roebuck under pressure. He gets away, though. And now the ball is fumbled, and Mount Pleasant will recover at the 27-yard line. So although Roebuck got away, number 22 for the Vikings, and that is Joe Lochner. He recovers the fumble, and the Vikings look to set up another scoring drive here.
And there's another low snap there, Zach. And I thought I thought that the quarterback was going to be able to get away with this one, but probably just didn't have a good firm grip on it when he was trying to run away, and the ball slipped out and Mount Pleasant recovered. So now Mount Pleasant with great field position to take a 4-possession lead here. They're setting up right at the 28-yard line. It's 1st and 10 for the Vikings.
And we hate to say it so early in a contest, but the mercy rule, you have to start wondering if that might come to effect. It's 35-0 when a team is above by 35 points. The mercy rule comes into effect. It doesn't start till halftime, of course, but now we have a run play up the middle, and Brett Fest, he stumbles on his way down the field to about the 24-yard line. But back to what I was saying, Cody, the mercy rule, if that comes into effect, the running clock starts in the start of the second half, so Brownsville is going to have to make up some ground while the first half is still going on. We're still in the first quarter with a minute left.
Yeah, there's just under a minute left in the first quarter. The Vikings with a 21-0 lead over the Falcons, 3 possessions. And like you said, Zach, with the 35-point difference, that's when the mercy rule comes into effect, but you won't see that until the second half.
And now we have another run play. Mount Pleasant runner gets outside, dives to the end zone, and he is in. That is number 7 for the Vikings. That is Tyler Mellors. That is his 2nd touchdown of the day, and the Vikings now up by 4 possessions. It is currently 27-0, barring the extra point.
And Mellors once again with another touchdown on the ground. The ground game has been proving to be really effective for these Vikings here so far. You know, we haven't seen much gain through the air. We saw the 1 touchdown pass made, but that was pretty much it. And, you know, it's good old school style football, just running it, attacking the defense, and they're able to score.
So Mount Pleasant, as the first quarter is starting to wind down, there's 36 seconds still left on the clock. The extra point about to be attempted by the Vikings. It is up, and it is good. So when we come back from break, we'll have the conclusion of the first quarter, Cody. Mount Pleasant with an early but big 28-0 lead against the Falcons here on CUTV.
High School Roundup, bringing you the best coverage of high school football in Western Pennsylvania. Tune in for scores, highlights, analysis, and the best plays from the previous week, plus previews and predictions of the week's biggest games, standings from across the region, and news from around the state. High School Roundup. Catch it. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays on CUTV. You're watching CUTV, California University Television.
And welcome back. His kickoff has come, and it is returned out to about the 33-yard line. And Cody, a note here for the Mount Pleasant roster. Number 22, we've been saying it's Joe Lochner on the runs and the fumble recovery. It's actually Ryan Ballou, number 22. He is a junior running back / defensive back, so I'd like to apologize to him and also the viewers. Get everything possible right that we can here on our broadcast.
Yeah, and it's a little bit confusing because on the rosters that we were given, there's 2 number 22s. Say that 2-3 times fast. It's a so it was a little bit of an issue for us. We didn't know which 22 to refer to, but luckily we've got that cleared up for you.
Now we have a timeout on the field from the officials. A little bit of clarification now, but with 31 seconds left, the play about to resume. 1st and 10 for the Falcons. Is a handoff to Fletcher, and he will go nowhere. Taken down in the backfield for a loss of about 2. Their ball is loose, but they're going to say that Fletcher was stopped. His progress was impeded, so time looks like it's probably going to run down here, Cody.
Yeah, and Fletcher was down by contact, at least in my eyes he was, so so fortunately it wasn't a fumble for the Falcons. But Zach, you are right, that will be the last play of the first quarter as we see 2-1 and time has expired with 28-0 lead for the Vikings.
And when we come back, we'll have second quarter action here on CUTV's Football Game of the Week.
Watch CUTV online anytime, anywhere. Check out your favorite original programs, coverage of the biggest events on campus, and cheer on your Vulcan sports teams. CUTV. Log on. Tune in now. Visit cutv.calu.edu/live. You're watching CUTV, California University Television.
And we welcome you back to Redstone Field. You see on your UPMC Health Plan scoreboard is 28-0 Mount Pleasant as the second quarter is about to start. The fresh 12 minutes on the clock, and the Falcons bring up about 2nd and 11 to start this quarter. On their first play of this drive, they lost about 1 yard on a Fletcher run, Cody. So looking to start the offensive drive going here. Roebuck in shotgun. He's going to pass, and it is complete. Looks like number 5 again. That is Marcellus Grooms. All 3 of the passes from Roebuck tonight have been completed to Grooms. He has about maybe 25, 30 receiving yards total.
Well, one thing is for sure, he was able to make it past the original line of scrimmage because as he was pushed out of bounds, we saw the marker go down. So getting a good amount of positive yards out of it going past the line of scrimmage as we see an official timeout here. Might be a little bit of a clock issue maybe. Not really sure, but the officials have stopped the clock, and now we will resume play.
And now it's going to bring up 3rd and I believe 8, Cody. So Brownsville faced with another long 3rd down tonight. They've had a few of those so far already. Haven't converted any of them. Looking to right now as Fletcher gets the handoff, looks to go up the middle. He will not. He will gain maybe 1 yard on the play, maybe half a yard. So that'll bring up 4th down for the Falcons.
I'll tell you what, Zach, this defensive line by the Vikings has been truly stellar here so far in this first half. They haven't been allowing the running game of the Falcons to go anywhere, really collapsing on the pocket very well.
And now it looks like Brownsville might be going for it, Cody. I'm sure they have the mentality, what do we have to lose here? We're already down by 4 scores. Why not try for it? Although we might just see a punt from Roebuck as well, but he's in very deep shotgun, 5 receivers set. And he will punt it away himself, so fools me, and the punt is away. The Mount Pleasant returner has some room on the outside. He keeps going midfield. He's at the 40. A few defenders to beat. He shakes out of a tackle at the 20. He has some running room. He takes it to the house. Cody, what an electrifying return. Breaking some defenders, going to the outside. That is number 22, Ryan Ballou. We mentioned him before. Now we get to say his name on the first play. We've been able to actually know who it was.
Yeah, Ryan Ballou showing fantastic footwork here. Great athleticism here at evading all the defenders, making jukes and spin moves where he needed to. Do you see him break that tackle there? That's just one example of the many moves that he was able to really do there on that play. It's truly phenomenal athleticism there by Ballou, and it puts the Vikings on the board for 6 more points, 34-0, pending the extra point.
Yeah, that might be a play you see on High School Roundup next week as one of our top 3 or possibly even the best of the best. Such an electrifying return from Ballou as the extra point is up, and it is blocked. So Mount Pleasant does not convert the extra point. There remains 34-0 with about 10:40 left in the first half. When we come back, more action. Brownsville will receive the kick here on CUTV.
A boy born in Joplin, Missouri was fascinated by anything with wheels and a motor. The odds of him winning both the Daytona 500 and the Brickyard 400 in the same year, 1 in 195 million. The odds of the child being diagnosed with autism, 1 in 110. I'm Jamie McMurray, and my niece has autism.
Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
You're watching CUTV, California University Television.
And we are back here on CUTV's High School Football Game of the Week as we have just gotten clarification, Cody, number 16 for the Vikings, doing the kicking duties as Ryan Domingo, kind gentleman next to us from Mount Pleasant High School, able to clarify it for us as the kick is away, taken around the 11-yard line, and Brownsville looks to return it. And they will get out to about the 27-yard line. Now, Cody, late in the season, we're going to look at some of the clinched playoff berths. Quad A, we have Gateway, McKeesport, Hempfield, Penn Trafford, Kiski, and a few other teams. I know Gateway and McKeesport, some of the ones we look at on High School Roundup every week.
Yeah, and then you have also teams like Upper St. Clair and Bethel Park and Woodland Hills who had a phenomenal playoff run last year as well. They made it very far. So they're looking for a repeat of that or make it even farther this year. But congratulations go out to those teams for already clinching a playoff berth.
Now Brownsville with 1st and 10 from around the 27, 28-yard line. Hard to tell the yard marker. A low snap yet again. Fletcher with the ball. He will be taken down about the 20-yard line. So we've seen a few low snaps tonight, Cody, and that one, like some of the others, have doomed the Falcons into long losses.
Yeah, and sometimes it works out not necessarily in the worst of outcomes, as we saw with the quarterback able to sneak away with it a couple times. But one of those ones, that one, for example, resulted in a huge loss. So something that the Falcons are definitely going to take to the locker room, as I would if I were the coach. I would say to try to ease up on the snaps. You know, just take a deep breath, calm down a little bit, and get the snaps off cleanly, and it'll result in better plays.
That will bring up 2nd and 18 for the Falcons. 9:40 left in the first half, and now we have an official's timeout. It's going to be a timeout taken by Brownsville, so they're going to set up exactly what play call they want to go with, Cody. On a 2nd and very long 18. Not a lot of success tonight. They have not converted any of their downs so far into new sets, and you see their schedule. We mentioned before in the open, they've lost 16 straight. But the good thing is to see that Brownsville has been scoring in some of these games. 21 against York, 20 against the Jeanette team, who is usually pretty good, 14 against Washington. Tonight they're getting shut out so far, but there's still a lot of time left, Cody. They might be able to turn that around and get maybe 14 to 20 points on the board. That would be a success for them. Also, if they could hold Mount Pleasant, that'd be really good too.
Yeah, they're looking to step up on both sides of the ball here, put some points on the board and prevent Mount Pleasant from scoring. I don't think Mount Pleasant has punted yet so far. They've scored on every drive that they have had.
Now it'll be 2nd and 18. The pass is incomplete. Marcellus Grooms was the intended receiver. That was the first one he had missed all night, so bring up 3rd and 18 for the Falcons, and they really need to convert this one, Cody, if they want to have a chance to put some points on the board and get back into this one. They're down by 5 possessions really, because although it's 34-0, it's really 5 possession lead still. But Brownsville needs something to go right for them if they want to get back in this one.
Yeah, and I lost my train of thought a little bit, but you're right, Zach. It's they're looking for any kind of spark that they can get in this game with 9:34 left to go in the first half, down by 34 points.
Now, it's a very low snap, Cody, and Roebuck will be taken down back around the 17-yard line, so that's going to bring up a 4th and 21. And I'm sure you're going to see the punting units come out as we see here. Another low snap. We've seen that a lot tonight. I'm sure it's either the center or the quarterback's just not preparing for the snap right away. A lot of factors could go into that. So we'll have to see as the punt is about to commence for Brownsville. And another low snap. And now ball is fumbled, recovered by Mount Pleasant and taken into the end zone for a touchdown. An interesting series of events there, Cody. Couldn't tell exactly if the ball was still loose or not. Number 10 for Mount Pleasant. He's actually not on our roster, So we apologize yet again, but he is the one who went in for the score. And Mount Pleasant up now 40-0.
Yeah, that was a really interesting series of events. It looked like the punter for Brownsville was able to, well, just barely get his foot on it, trying a little desperation kick to get anything off, but then it got blocked literally right at where his foot was. And then, you know, since it was touched by Mount Pleasant defender, it's a live ball. Anyone can jump on it, and Mount Pleasant got it and ran it into the end zone for a touchdown.
And the extra point is up, and it is good. So Mount Pleasant now with a 41-0 lead. 8:53 still left in the first half. When we come back, some more action here on CUTV.
Think you found every hazard out here today? Think again. The spot you missed could be a killer. That spot on your skin could be skin cancer. If you're a man over 50, you're in a group most likely to develop skin cancer, including melanoma, the kind that kills one person every hour. That's why your best shot is to check for a spot. It's easy. Follow through and check your skin. Go to spotskincancer.org to find out how. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
You are watching CUTV, California University Television.
And we are back. And you read that scoreboard right, ladies and gentlemen, on your UPMC Health Plan scoreboard. 41-0 Mount Pleasant. Still a lot of time left in the first half. Marcellus Grims to receive the kick, takes it about the 15. He goes to the outside, has a little bit of running room. He's steps out of bounds at the 34-yard line. Tried to keep going, but linesman marked him out of bounds, so not a big return there like the Falcons are probably hoping for, but they'll get good starting field position at the 34-yard line.
And I'll tell you what, Zach, that was it's very unfortunate for Brownsville that he stepped out of bounds. It had to have been close if he kept going, you know, trying to fool the official, but he had the whole field ahead of him. It was clear as day. No defenders to beat. He had the speed to beat out the Viking defense. He would have had a touchdown in my eyes, but unfortunately just probably got the tip of his heel out of bounds, and that ruled him down out there. So it's 8:46 left to go in the first half, and they set up shop there.
1st and 10 now for the Falcons. And there's a run, but he is stuffed up immediately by the Mount Pleasant defenders. That is number 15 for the Falcons. That is Devontae Stafford. Looks like number 6 was part of the tackle squad. That is Javion Ansel. So, good tackle right there by the Mount Pleasant defender. Actually just kind of shoved the Brownsville lineman back into Stafford and took him down that way.
Yeah, and any way you can get him down, if it works, just as long as it's legal. And there goes, again, that Viking rush defense proving to be really stellar here early on.
Now bring up 2nd and 12 for the Falcons. They are back to pass, and the ball is fumbled. So Mount Pleasant has a recovery. Shane Roebuck loses the ball again. Number 3 for the Vikings comes up with it as Pierce Cook, a junior wide receiver slash linebacker. I'll have to look on the replay. I couldn't exactly tell if he lost the ball or not.
Yeah, with the way the defenders were going after Roebuck and the running back, I thought that the Falcons had control, but it easily fooled me, and the ball did come out. I saw it fall onto the ground, and Mount Pleasant jump on it to recover. So that's another turnover for the Falcons. And the Vikings will set out shop deep in Brownsville territory, right at around the 20-yard line.
Yeah, they are about the 19-yard line, it looks like, Cody. So first snap here, taken to about the 15-yard line. Progress has been stopped there for the Mount Pleasant runner. That is number 6. That is Jalen Ansel on the run. The Vikings looking to put it in the end zone yet again for more points. Could possibly make it 48-0 on this drive.
Yeah, Jalen Ansel looking for a hole to open up in the middle. Not showing much patience, though, as he's met really quickly by the Brownsville defenders. But there was no, it didn't seem like there were many offensive linemen to get blocks behind. So just squeezing out any yards that he could.
Now, looks like we have a false start here against the Vikings. Could see some movement on the line, Cody. We'll get the official call here momentarily. And it is going to be false start against the Vikings. So that'll bring up 2nd and 9 with the added penalty yards. So stops them momentarily, but Brownsville's defense has to really step up if they want to stop them from scoring on this drive as well.
Yeah, there's 7 minutes and 4 seconds left to go on the clock in the second quarter. And Brownsville down 41-0, looking for a big defensive stand.
Now the snap, and there's a pass from Gambita. Receiver open, and that is a touchdown for the Vikings. That is number 1, Brennan Ramella, a sophomore wide receiver with the touchdown reception. Gambita, that is his 2nd touchdown pass of the day, puts the Viking up 47-0.
6:51 left to go in the second quarter, and we're seeing Mount Pleasant start to run away with it here in the first half, with taking the large lead here, and still a whole half left to go. And it's looking to be a one-sided game. Brownsville going to do anything that they can to make a name for themselves in this game.
Yeah, and the mercy rule, although it would be in effect as the kick is up and it's 48-0, does not start to the second half. So still 6:51 left in the first half, left to go, Cody. When we come back, 48-0 Brownsville, your score here on CUTV.
Explore new worlds. Read. Visit literacy.gov and let the journey begin.
You're watching CUTV, California University Television.
And we are back now. A 48-0 Mount Pleasant lead. Still 6:51 left in the first half, Cody. Brownsville, they're going to itch and claw their way hopefully back into this one as the kick is taken around the 30-yard line and the returner slips down about the 37, and the Falcons will start their drive there. We're going to look at some more of the AAA teams that have clinched a playoff berth in the WPIAL. Ringgold and Elizabeth Ford, they are highlighted. They are in our viewing area. Some of the other ones we like to see every now and then. West Mifflin, Thomas Jefferson is always a big powerhouse. West Allegheny, Central Valley, Moon, and Mars. Those are always fun names to say. Imagine if they ever played a game against each other, Cody. And then Franklin Regional, Newcastle, Montour, and Central Valley as well. So those are all the teams that have clinched so far. A few more spots still left in AAA.
I would call the Moon and Mars game the space game, as generic as that may sound, but how often do you hear something that crazy? So it would really be unique, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's too bad the Space Jam is already taken. That could have been a big moniker for it, as well as the pass is incomplete now, but it looks like there's going to be a flag for pass interference on this one, as the defender for Mount Pleasant looks like he impeded with Marcellus Grooms a little bit early, got there from behind, just too close to the pass, and the linesman was right there to throw the flag, so it's going to be a pass interference call, it looks like.
Yeah, the officials are discussing it over, making sure they all saw the right thing. But I saw the same thing you did, Zach. I saw the defender get on the receiver too early, and that is exactly what it's called. It is pass interference on the Vikings. So it will move the ball left to right in favor of Brownsville.
And Cody, that is going to be, I believe, the farthest that Brownsville has been on the field all night long, as they are going to be spotted in Mount Pleasant territory at the 47-yard line. So first time they've been in Mount Pleasant territory. This is also their first drive where they've had another first down. So maybe they can make something out of this one and get on the scoreboard with 6:42 left in the first half. Now the pass is deep. Receiver's there, but it is thrown over his head, and Roebuck is down on the field, but he gets up now after taking a big hit on his pass.
Yeah, and it looked like the receiver, Marcellus Grooms, either lost track of the ball or just saw that it was way too high over his head, and we didn't see him really make that much effort to try and catch it. But as we saw, it went flying and went out of bounds. So it was probably the second option that I said, but still, you know, it's the might have been a little bit of a miscommunication on the route, or the fact that the quarterback was hurried, trying to rush it off and get it out there and not take a sack.
Now it's going to be 2nd and 10 from the 47. Brownsville looking to convert here on this drive, try and get on the scoreboard. It's a handoff up the middle to Fletcher. He has a little bit of running room. Taken down about the 42-yard line, so a gain of 5 on that play. Bring up 3rd and medium at 5 yards away from the new set of downs.
And Brownsville faced with a 3rd down situation here, but what's different about this one is that they're somewhat close to what you would call 4-down territory, where you would go for it on 4th down. But I think if you're down by this many points, even if it's the first half, you have to go for it on 4th down to claw, as you were saying before, to claw your way back in it. And that's the that might be the case here.
Yeah, and we have 3rd down and 5 now for the Falcons. Roebuck will keep it himself, tries to get to the outside. He will not. Taken down about the 43-yard line, so that's going to be a loss on the play. So Brownsville faced with a tough decision here. Do they go for it on 4th down, or do they just punt it away?
And I'm seeing Roebuck get down on his knees for a lot of these snaps, and that's telling me that a lot of these snaps, again, are being very low to the ground. So that's proving to be a continuous problem here for the Falcons here early on, not able to get that offensive consistency going with the clean snaps. So we might have been seeing a lot more offensive production if the snaps were cleaner, because every little thing on a play matters, from the snap to the reception to the run up the middle to a key block. Everything's important.
And now we have 5 receivers on this set. Trips left, duos right. He is going to pass. And it is almost intercepted, so it'll be a turnover on downs. The Mount Pleasant Vikings will take control back at the original line of scrimmage, where Brownsville just took that 4th down snap. You look on the replay, the pass almost intercepted, almost caught as well by Marcellus Grimm, so that could have been a dual completion. I believe the tie, though, like in baseball, tie goes to the runner. I believe the tie goes to the receiver.
Yeah, and they do that to promote the offense and score a lot, and so that the more points can be scored and everything. They do that in every sport like that. The tie goes in favor of the offense. But it looked like the defender and the receiver both got one hand on it. That would have been a little bit unique to see if they both tried to pull it in, but ended up in a tug-of-war match. You know, you normally don't see that. You see that in something like basketball.
Now we have under 5 minutes left in the first half. It's going to be a run play and taken down maybe for a gain of 1 on the play. So 2nd and 9. That was number 6. That was Jalen Ansel on the run.
We have a new quarterback in for Mount Pleasant. It is number 5, Nathan Pizak. I apologize if I butchered that name a little bit, but the new quarterback in for Mount Pleasant after taking such a commanding lead. You know, it's good to see some more players get some playing time in these situations.
Yeah, it's the advantage of going up early and big. You can get some of your players that don't play a lot in some action. You never know when injuries might strike, because we have another run to the outside. Some running room. And it's good enough for a 1st down, about 1-yard pass. That is number 33 for the Vikings. That is Isaac Garstecki.
Isaac Garstecki doing a great job there on the run, sneaking out to the outside and evading all the defenders. You know, once again, the offensive line and the defensive line for this Vikings team has been really, I feel like, a broken record. They've been so stellar so far, you know, getting all those key blocks that they need and to open up holes or to make running room wherever it may be. It's been really great overall.
And excuse me, that was actually Kyle Holterman. There's 2 33s on our roster. One of them is an offensive lineman. One of them's a running back. I'll go with the running back. And on this play, looks like another gain of 1 for the Vikings. Number 6, Jalen Ansel. Again, we've called his name a few times. With 3:32 left in the first half, looks like the Vikings, as long as they move down the field, they're trying to just run some clock out and get to halftime and enforce the mercy rule as well.
Yeah, that seems like what Mount Pleasant's trying to do here, just run as much of the clock out as they can to get to halftime. And with a 48-0 lead, there's not really much more that can be said about how commanding the Vikings are right now.
Now is a keeper. Pizak has it. He is running. Tries to break some defenders, and he will be taken down about the 15-yard line. So a big gain right there, about 30 yards on that play. Brings up a new set of downs for the Vikings. Pizak, we saw Gambita do this earlier. Pizak shows he has some running ability as well for the Vikings.
Yeah, showing some tremendous speed there, threading the needle between those two defenders that you see on your screen, if you will. And that's a great athleticism all around by Pizak, and busting into the red zone and threatening to score once again.
And now we have a timeout on the field by the officials. I'll have to see exactly what for. Looks like Pizak will be coming off. We might have seen possibly, the only thing that could come to my mind is his helmet might have came off during the last play, and WPIAL rules stipulate that you must sit out one play if your helmet comes off, similar to college. So Gambita back in now. We have a run play to the Vikings runner. Have to see who that is again, as Jalen Ansel, could not remember his name off the top of my head, takes it to about the 7-yard line.
And Jalen Ansel just getting, once again, doing that old school style football, running it up the gut, keeping that clock moving, and while all at the same time threatening to score. So it's a killing two birds with one stone, if you will, for the Vikings.
So that'll bring up 2nd and 6. 2:09 left in the first half. Vikings inside the red zone, looking to score again, as we have another handoff to Ansel. Brownsville, they're starting to swarm around him a little bit more. The tackle squad led by number 45, Dominique Gregory. He is a senior, so the Falcons defense, their goal line, they stood tall a little bit earlier in the game. Eventually, the Vikings scored. This time they're trying to do the same and keep them out of the end zone and maybe make them settle for a field goal.
Yeah, and that's the point that I was going to make, Zach. If there's one thing that's been top-notch for these Falcons, it's their goal line defense.
Yeah, it's always one part of a team that's always spectacular. Is now we see it performed yet again. Number 15 this time leading the tackle. And we have to see who that was. That was Devontae Stafford. He is a sophomore, so Mount Pleasant not getting into the end zone this time. They'll be settled with the field goal, as Domenico is back out there to attempt the field goal. We've seen him a couple times on extra points and the kickoffs as well. With 1:03 left, we're going to have the field goal attempt here. We have under a minute left now. So Domenico setting up. Looks like it's going to be maybe a 23-yard field goal attempt, and it's up, and it's no good. So Brownsville, their their goal line defense stands up, keeps Mount Pleasant off the board, and we're actually going to just stay here, ladies and gentlemen. So little time left on the clock, only 42 seconds. So we're not going to go to break with only so little time left. But Cody, we said it before, Brownsville's goal line defense has been really good tonight, and they show right there. If you make a team settle for a field goal, they might not always convert. And it worked for them there, as now we're going to look at some AA teams that have clinched playoff berths, Cody.
Yeah, and then highlighted in gold is Mount Pleasant and Washington, who are in CUTV's coverage area. But a lot of those other top teams there, South Park is always dominant, making very large playoff runs. South Fayette and Quaker Valley, Shadyside and Katanning. A lot of those teams, really dominant forces in the AA. There's a lot of dominance all around, no matter how many A's are in your conference.
Absolutely, Cody. There's always successful teams. There's always those teams that look to build towards the future, as Roebuck will keep it and be taken down about the 27-yard line. The clock will keep running, though. Brownsville will keep their timeout. With about 30 seconds left, we might see one more play from the Falcons.
Yeah, it looks like they'll have to run one more play. There might be a 1 or 2 second difference between the play clock and the game clock. The game clock right now reading 15 seconds. And the Brownsville's huddled up, but it looks like they're going to let the clock run out because they aren't in any hurry to get to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, it looks like they will let run out, Cody. So halftime is upon us. It's been a big first half for the Vikings. The Falcons, their defense stood up at the end, though, so a good bright spot right there for them to look at going to the future. 48-0 Brownsville at 48-0 Mount Pleasant at halftime over Brownsville, on your UPMC Health Plan scoreboard. When we come back for halftime, we'll see marching bands perform on CUTV.
High School Roundup, bringing you the best coverage of high school football in Western Pennsylvania. Tune in for scores, highlights, analysis, and the best plays from the previous week, plus previews and predictions of the week's biggest games, standings from across the region, and news from around the state. High School Roundup. Catch it. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays on CUTV.
What's up, man? You left some leaves burning out here.
Yeah, I just just came in just for a second.
Come on, man. If it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave. You could torch the whole neighborhood.
It's a good point there, Smokey.
9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Need to know what's happening in your area? CUTV News Center brings you your best local news. Events on and around campus. Local weather. Vulcan sports coverage. CUTV News Center, live, Thursdays at 5.
And we are back at Redstone Field. Mount Pleasant has a commanding 48-0 lead at halftime on your UPMC Health Plan scoreboard. But now, a sight to see on CUTV's High School Football Game of the Week. We will have the Mount Pleasant Marching Band perform, and then afterwards, after they are completed, we'll have the Brownsville Marching Band perform, and then some action from the second half here on CUTV.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We now present 2013-2014 edition of the Mount Pleasant Area Tower of Power Marching Band. This year's show is very jazz and swing inspired. We open tonight's show with the Stevie Wonder hit, Higher Ground. We then feature the Viking Performance Ensemble on the Cab Calloway Standard, Minnie the Moocher. Our next number today features our percussion section on the Duke Ellington classic, It Don't Mean a Thing. We again feature our performance ensemble on the Toy Story hit, You've Got a Friend in Me. And we'll conclude our show with the powerful Umbrella Beach. And now, the pride of the Mount Pleasant area, the Tower of Power, the Mount Pleasant area Viking Band.
I wish the guy that announced my band. Oh, sorry. I'm not sure. No.
The band was led on the field by senior drum major Brianna Walbaum and junior drum major Randy Burry. Drum captain is Carol Ann McCloy. The performance ensemble was led by Captain Carly Rimmel and assistant captain Tricera Halderman. The Tower of Power is under the direction of Frederick Collins and assistant director Thomas Murphy. Instructors include Jelly Koshar, percussion, David Brown, assistant percussion, Teresa Firmstone, performance ensemble, and Tiffany Trice Kohler, twirlers. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to Redstone Field, the pride of Brownsville, the Brownsville Area Golden Falcon Marching Band. The drum major this year is Sabrina French. This year's show is Batman. Our first selection is the Batman movie theme. Take it away, Sabrina. We continue our halftime show with the Batman television theme, featuring a trumpet solo by John Steiner. We then conclude our show with the Batmobile chase. Watch the epic battle scene between Batman and the Joker. The part of the Joker is played by Emily Bean. direction of Mr. Andy Giles. Assistants, Kathy Sassano and John U.
And now, another adventure with Savings Man.
Look, honey, the neighbors just bought a big screen TV.
Hey, I just got a bonus at work. Maybe we should get one too.
Hold on there.
Savings Man.
Using your bonus to secure your future by paying down debt or saving is a better way to go.
Well, I declare you're right, Savings Man.
Stay ahead by choosing to save. And don't worry about keeping up with the Joneses.
But their name is Johnson.
For more tips and tools, visit choosetosave.org today.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
CUTV is your home for local high school football action. Sundays at 8:30, Thursdays at 5:30, only on CUTV.
And we are back for second half action, brought to you, or your scoreboard is brought to you by the Physical Therapy Institute. Mount Pleasant has a 48-0 lead over the Brownsville Falcons here at Redstone Field. We're going to look at the Trip Total Media halftime stats, Cody.
And those halftime stats, Zach, are very one-sided. The closest thing is the penalties. You know, each team both has 2 penalties. But the score is 48-0, Zach. Let's go. Let's take a look at how we got there.
Absolutely,
in this
Cody. We have. Sorry for interrupting you. We have a lot of highlights. The first touchdown, Brett Fess, on the handoff to the outside. That was the first touchdown, I believe, for Mount Pleasant. Scored within 27 seconds. And then the second touchdown from Gambita to Malera. He is the tight end for Mount Pleasant, number 17. He caught both of the first 2 passes of the game for the Vikings.
Yeah, Mount Pleasant just piling on the points in the first half. And we see this is Brian Fletcher showing some great athleticism here on this run. Even though he didn't gain that many yards, still did a good number of juke moves and spin moves to evade the defenders, but then eventually too many got on him.
You know, we have some more Mount Pleasant highlights. We have no time for that, though, as second half kickoff is here. Domenico kicks it away. Brownsville to receive it. And it will bounce a little bit, taken at the 10-yard line, a little bit of return room. Out to around the 25-yard line, so a 15-yard return. Brownsville will set up shop a little bit farther than a touchback line.
And that will be the first down mark for Brownsville. And as you said, Zach, before, during the first half, the mercy rule is starting to come into effect now with the 48-point lead that Mount Pleasant has. It's the clock is continually running now. There's 11 minutes and 27 seconds as the third quarter just got underway, but we'll see that come into effect now.
Absolutely, Cody. The running clock, I believe, only stops for change of possessions as well as injuries. So Brownsville will start at the 25-yard line. 4 receivers, 2 on each side, but it is a handoff to Fletcher, he has a little bit of running room. He has a new set of downs. That is the longest gain on any play for the Falcons all night long. Looks like they might have eclipsed their total yardage as well from the first half on that one play.
Yeah, and that was a very rare first down conversion by the Falcons. We didn't see too many, if any at all, in the first half. So the Falcons really coming out of the gate here saying, we're not done yet. We're going to play for all that we have left. And here they are running it up to get some first downs and some offensive key plays.
So Brownsville with a new set of downs, 1st and 10 and a half minutes left in the third quarter, just getting underway here. If you just joined us, Mount Pleasant, 48-0 lead, mercy rule in effect. Fletcher with the handoff, he is taken down about 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage. It'll be about 2nd and 14. So had a big gain the first play, and now a loss on that one. So doing a lot to get down the field, but then it goes all for naught.
Yeah, the defense really quick to stand up there on Brownsville's running game there. The running defense for the Vikings has been stellar as of this game, not letting Brownsville get much of anything.
So bring up 2nd and 13 actually for the Falcons. It's another handoff to the outside. Has a little bit of running room. He's still going. The ball is loose, but the runner will be marked down. That is number 15, Devontae Stafford. But there's a flag on the play. We might see a holding call, possibly even a clipping maybe. It's a rare one. Might see that one here. We have a hold against Brownsville, so I'm sure Mount Pleasant will elect to drive the Falcons back. We'll bring up about a second, maybe 23, depending on if it's a spot foul. If it is, then it'll bring up 2nd and less. So we'll have to see exactly where the ball is going to be marked at.
And the clock is continuing to run. We're just under 9 minutes left to go in the third quarter now. Brownsville having one of the best offensive possessions we have seen them have all game, regardless of how these penalties are starting to affect them. We saw the kick return, and then we saw the big run by Fletcher up the far side to get one of their very rare first down conversions.
So it remains 2nd and 13, Cody, so no further movement against the Falcons. Roebuck back to pass, has a receiver, Marcellus Grooms, and that is out of bounds. No room for Grooms to catch that one there. Another incomplete pass for Roebuck.
Yeah, the field was just a tiny bit not wide enough for Grooms to make this catch. You could see him start to run his route, slant towards the out-of-bounds line, but it just ran right out of bounds and was still looking for the ball, though, so all of his attention on the ball and not where he was going. But that only makes sense. If you want to be able to catch the ball, you got to go to where it's going. That's what they teach you in a lot of sports. So so that was a good effort by the receiver there.
Absolutely. We'll bring up 3rd and long for the Falcons. 7:38 left in the third quarter. Running clock, so it won't stop unless the Falcons or even the Vikings score again. So it's a pitch play now. That's a run. Devontae Stafford gets to about the original line of scrimmage, so a gain of 3 on the play. It'll bring up 4th and 10, and we'll probably see Brownsville's punt team come out. But I'm not exactly sure, Cody. We might see them go for it here.
It's one of those. Either way can go situations. You can punt it away to show what the mercy rule really is about, or you can go for it and try to claw your way back in this game. But we're seeing the punt team come out now, so they will be giving the ball to the Vikings.
And the punt is snap, and it barely gets away. It's a very short punt. It takes a bad bounce against Brownsville, too. They'll mark it at the 49-yard line in Mount Pleasant territory. So Mount Pleasant and the Vikings get very good starting field position to add to their 48-0 lead. And Cody, we've been going through a series of the clinched playoff berths. And now we're going to finally go to single A. Fort Cherry, Clareton, Monessen, Beth Center, and Carmichael's, all ones in our viewing area. And a key note, Beth Center in a critical matchup against Avella tonight. Beth Center currently leading 28-21.
So that's a good game to watch there for Beth Center. Just clinching that playoff spot. They're guaranteed now, but they're fighting for a top seed against Avella.
Now we have player in motion. A fake handoff. As looks like we have a new quarterback in there as well. We'll have to check that in a second. It is a new set of downs. That is number 10. That is Jake Adamrovich. Number 14 on our roster, but over her in the PA, he's number 10, Jake Adamrovich.
Yeah, another new quarterback in for the Vikings. A lot of people getting some good playing time. I'm sure we've seen a lot of other substitutions that we haven't really noticed on both the offensive and defensive side of the ball. So it's good to see some playing time for the other guys.
Now Adamrovich hands it off. Looks like it might be number 6. There is a penalty flag on the play, Cody. You see that fly in. We'll have to see exactly who that was on the run, and it was Jalen Ansel, so we'll have to get the call here, though.
And it is a holding call against the Vikings, so it will push them back 10 more yards. Granted that the Falcons accepted, and they do. They're starting to march backwards. But if you take a look at the replay, you might be able to catch it on your screen. There's a lot of contact there by the offensive line, and the Falcons able to draw the penalty, getting themselves held and pushing them back 10 yards.
And Cody, another updated score that we have, a big one for single A, a team that has clinched a playoff berth, Monessen, going against Chartiers Houston, who's trying to get a playoff berth. Monessen currently leads 16-7. So now Adamrovich with another handoff, a little bit of running room on the outside. The runner keeps going, taken down at the 30. That is number 20 for the Mount Pleasant Vikings. That is actually Joe Lohner. We had him number 22 on our roster. We mentioned him before. Now we finally get to call his name for real this time.
Yeah, there might have been a mistype there, or a typo on the roster that we have, but still showing some great athleticism here, sneaking out to the outside and evading some defenders, breaking a couple tackles even. Great running offense here for the Vikings.
Now it's another handoff, and this time outside. There's a flag on the play, though. That one will go to the end zone, but I'm sure this one will be coming back. There was a penalty flag. Looks like it would have been for holding, and it is. So that was number 33, Kyle Halterman. So that one will be negated, and Mount Pleasant is kept off the scoreboard for now, at least.
Yeah, and Mount Pleasant here having quite a few penalty troubles here in this second half. It's something that we really didn't see in the first half. We saw that one pass interference penalty against them, maybe a couple offsides, false starts, but never really that many consecutive penalties in a row, let alone holds. So that's a little something new to see that we're seeing from the Vikings anyway.
And Cody, a last score update for you. This one affects both these teams. Yawk is beating Greensburg Central Catholic 17-7. Now we have another handoff from Mount Pleasant. The runner keeps going with a defender on his back. We'll have to get exactly who that was in a second. That's 20. That is Matt Lochner. So he's getting a couple more calls here late in the game. We have 2 minutes and 38 seconds left in the third quarter.
And once again, trying to find a hole, but the Brownsville defenders all over them and not letting them go anywhere. All that effort was to no avail. Good stop there by the defense.
So Brownsville's defense faced with a 3rd and 5. We'll see if they can stop them here. There's a fake handoff. Adamrovich will keep it. He will not get the first down behind the line of scrimmage, so maybe a loss of 1 on the play. Brownsville's defense has stood up the last couple possessions, Cody. That's a very good bright spot for the Falcons to have.
And that was a huge hit there by the Brownsville defender, whoever it was on the tackle. I'm sure you could hear the crowd gasp as the hit was delivered. That was number 88 for the Falcons, Isaiah Mathias.
So a big hit right there. We're going to see the punt team come on. Or actually, no. Mount Pleasant's going to go for it, Cody. So 4th and about 5. They're going to go for it. There's a handoff. And that is going to be just enough for a first down, it looks like. Based on the spot the refs are giving, the Vikings is going to be enough. Matt Lohner on the run. So the Vikings not forced off the field. We're going to get a new set of downs with 1:15 left.
And a big 4th down conversion here for the Vikings. This allows them to maintain control of the ball, and the ball here signifies a lot more to this game. It signals the whole game. You know, they can control the clock, control the yards, they can control everything.
Adamovich with the snap, hands it off. No, he keeps it himself. Quarterback keeper runs to the outside, but he's met by a couple defenders for the Falcons. So a loss of about 1 or 2 yards on the play. There's under 45 seconds left. We might see one more play in this quarter.
Yeah, there will be at least one more because there's about a 10-second difference between the game clock and the play clock. The play clock in the high school level, if I'm recalling correctly, is set at 35 seconds, and we saw the play down with about 46 on the clock. So that'll be there will be at least one more play in this half. You're about to see it happen right now.
And something to note, Cody, I don't actually see a play clock on the field. From my knowledge, I thought it was a rule you had to have a play clock on the field, but nonetheless, Adamovich will keep it up the middle again. He will gain about maybe 2 or 3 yards, and that will be the end of the third quarter. But we are going to keep it here, Cody, because we have a tradition at CUTV. As you look at your scoreboard first, brought to you by the Lee Supply Company, Inc. It's 48-0 Mount Pleasant at the end of the third quarter. But like I was saying, we have a tradition here at CUTV and the high school football game of the week, the hot dog score, and Brownsville gets a 9.6. We'll see exactly where they places them in the standings in just a second, but no matter where they stand so far through the season, they definitely have to give them the hospitality award. We got some free t-shirts early in the game. We got some free deep fried Oreos. My first time ever having them. It's like heaven in a bite. Thank you, Gary Smith, for introducing me to those. Got some free funnel cakes. The hot dog was good. The pepperoni rolls I heard were really good. So Brownsville had to get a big thank you tonight for their hospitality and their concession stands, as well as the band, their members as well, selling the deep fried Oreos.
Yeah, and it really pushes it up there to the top of the list. You know, 9.6, really close to that 9.8 top score. It's that just goes to show. But it gets the People's Choice Award here with the crew here, I must say, with all the hospitality and everything that they're providing us. It's one of the best hospitalities we've ever had, to my knowledge anyway, and it gets the award for that for sure.
Absolutely. Coming out and seeing that some of the schools embrace us, being able to film their games is always a good sight to see. And now we're going to be back to action. The fourth quarter is starting now. Handoff to Jalen Ansel. Carries a defender on his back and then finally stopped short of the first down marker. So that'll bring up, I believe, third down. It might be fourth down. It is fourth down, so it's going to be about 4th and 5.
Once again, the Vikings forced with a 4th down here, and I'm expecting to see them go for it here. They're already deep into Brownsville territory, and you're up by 48 points, so you might as well. But it's anybody's guess right now as to what's going to happen. But Ansel really didn't want to go down on that last play, Zach, as we saw. He carried that defender on his back for a few yards. You know, he just pushed for any yards that he could.
Absolutely. I'm sure a lot of these players want to keep fighting and give it their all, especially late in the game. Although it's a big score, still want to fight your hardest as we have another outside run. This time, the runner has some room to work with, and he will be into the end zone. That is number 33 for the Vikings. That is Kyle Holterman. I believe that is his second touchdown of the day, and the Vikings will take a commanding 54-0 lead.
And with that, the clock stops at 10 minutes and 48 seconds. So if there is a score, the clock does stop, even with the mercy rule. So we are seeing the Vikings now take the 54-0 lead pending the extra point, as you said, Zach. And it's just been all around a great offensive, productive day for these Vikings.
Absolutely, Cody. And Brownsville's defense, though, has been starting to step up as the game goes on. They've had a little trouble covering the outside runs, but they're still doing a good job. We have to give them credit there, as the extra point is up and it is good. So when we come back for more fourth quarter action, 10:48 left, it's 55-0 Mount Pleasant.
explore new worlds. Read. Visit literacy.gov and let the journey begin.
You're watching CUTV, California University Television.
And we are back at Redstone Field, 55-0 on your Lee Supply Company scoreboard on CUTV's High School Football Game of the Week. We only have one left, Cody. I'm sure we'll get to that later in the broadcast. But Brownsville about to receive the kick, 10:48 left. And action is underway again. Kick taken about the 18-yard line, returned all the way out to about the 42, so a big 24-yard return right there.
Yeah, it was a big return by the Falcon return man, and we're seeing them set up with some pretty good field position. On the return was Dominique Gregory for the Falcons, and possibly one of the best field positions we've seen them have all game. Even though they're not necessarily in opposing territory, they really haven't gotten far out of their own end that many times.
Absolutely, Cody. The farthest they've ever been on the field tonight was around the 40-yard line, maybe, of Mount Pleasant on their side of the field. So good to see, as Brownsville is actually going to take a timeout right now, but good to see the Falcons get some good field position as there's exactly 10 minutes left for the game. Brownsville going to take a timeout, so the clock will stop. So, Cody, as I alluded to before, we have one broadcast left. We're going to look at upcoming telecasts next week. High school football, Altoona at Connellsville. That will round out our high school football game of the week schedule. Then Vulcan football versus Gannon, a big matchup there. Gannon losing to Mercyhurst last night, so evens things up in PSAC West. Then we have football at Slippery Rock, and then volleyball in Hamer Hall. I've never actually been able to say that I've been in the gymnasium at Hamer Hall. They will take on Seton Hill, so a lot of action coming up on CUTV and its sports coverage.
Hamer Hall is where the Vulcans used to play all of their home basketball and volleyball games before the Convocation Center was built, so it'll be a good blast from the past.
Now we have another botched snap here. Roebuck tries to take it at the middle. He will get nowhere, maybe the original line of scrimmage a little bit less. It'll still be second and about 10 for the Falcons.
Yeah, and these snaps are, it looked like Roebuck there was a little bit responsible for that one, bobbling it a little bit. It looked like it would have been a decent height for him to receive it. But still, these snaps have been a constant issue for these Falcons. All game long, we've seen bobbled snaps that result in big losses or maybe a couple turnovers.
Second and 10 now for the Falcons, trying to find their way in the board. They don't want to get shut out tonight. As a handoff to the outside, Brian Fletcher has it. Still works his way outside. He's at midfield and takes it out about the 47-yard line. So a big gain right there. It's a new set of downs for the Falcons as well, as I believe that's their second new set of downs, not counting the one off a pass interference penalty.
And I'm sure that Fletcher going out of bounds was just a force of habit to try and stop the clock. But as we saw, it'll be to no avail with the mercy rule in effect. So it's probably just a force of habit from the running back. So a good habit to get into, Zach, if I may say.
Absolutely, you'd like to see that, but since the clock will keep going, it's all for naught as Fletcher yet again runs to the outside. He has another big gain, keeps on going, breaks the defenders. He's gonna find his way into the end zone. Brownsville is on the board, Cody. Fletcher with a lot of yardage there to work with, a couple big runs in this game, and he finds his way 4-6, so Brownsville will not find themselves shut out tonight. It's a good moral victory for them, I would have to say.
Yeah, Brownsville getting on the board for the first time with 8 minutes and 21 seconds left to go in the fourth quarter on this outstanding run by Fletcher. It was over 50 yards long. Sneaking out to the outside, evading all of the defenders that he could. It looked like two Viking defenders actually collided with each other, so that provided a good window for Fletcher to take advantage of. And he took all of the yards that he could, and it led him to the end zone for the touchdown.
Now it looks like Brownsville's actually going to go for two on this one, Cody. So trying to make it a 55-8 score. Handoff to Devontae Stafford. He will be taken down well short of the goal line. So it's 55-6 Mount Pleasant. When we come back, the rest of the fourth quarter here on CUTV.
You're watching CUTV, California University Television.
And we are back here on CUTV's High School Football Game of the Week. Brownsville finally getting on the board, Cody. It's now 55-6. Mount Pleasant with 8:21 left in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and it's a first score for Brownsville. It was a touchdown, and they went for a 2-point conversion. If you're just joining us, but it unfortunately failed. And we're going to take a look at that replay, Zach, of that touchdown run. It was a phenomenal run. It was about a 53 or 54-yard run by Fletcher, the running back. And as we saw, those two Viking defenders collide with each other, and that's what I think really was the key here for Fletcher to go and capitalize on that score, taking advantage of any opportunity that was present to him. Great athletic work there by Fletcher.
Now Byron Myers is going to be kicking the ball away. A little bit of a false start, no penalty on that one, but Myers now is ready, and the kick is away. So Mount Pleasant takes it about the 15-yard line, has some room to run it up the field, upended about the 34, so a 19-yard return sets up shop for Mount Pleasant.
8 minutes and 10 seconds left to go in this fourth quarter of the game, and Mount Pleasant still with the commanding lead. But we saw a lot of plays here today, Zach, that could end up on our high school roundup best plays of the week. And if you join in to see that, you'll see highlights and scores and standings and us, a lot more on High School Roundup. We've been around since 1999 here on CUTV. Great program if you're staying up to date with the high school playoff picture.
Yeah, first down play for Mount Pleasant is a handoff. Ooh, and a big collision at the end. There's a flag on the play. The hit came from number 88 for the Falcons, Isaac Mathias. Let's see what the penalty is. But, Cody, going back to High School Roundup for a second, it's good to know, as we get the penalty call, it's a holding against Mount Pleasant. But it's good to know that we actually have a lot of viewers in the show, and you actually were talking with one of the Mount Pleasant coaches who recognized you from our program and saw some of our scoreboards and highlights. This is the first Mount Pleasant game we've done all year, but he remembered in the first week that we did the show, we picked against Mount Pleasant against GCC, and they proved us wrong on that one. But it's good to know that even the coaches watch our show and stay up to date with the rest of the league as well.
Yeah, and that took me aback a little bit whenever he approached me, but it makes us feel good that we do have loyal viewers out there who enjoy our show, and we appreciate the feedback coming, no matter if it be good or bad.
Now, another first down play. It's 1st and 15. This one will make it right about the original line of scrimmage, maybe a yard farther. So gain of 6, it'll bring up 2nd and 9 for the Vikings. As the clock continues to run, it's now at 6:39.
Yeah, the Vikings just taking it up the gut here, running the clock out, draining it, melting it, however you want to describe it, off of the scoreboard. With their 49-point lead that they have now, it's a big commanding lead.
2nd and 9 for the Vikings. 6:15 left. As now is a fake end around, but the tackle is made. Devontae Stafford. We've called his name a lot tonight, Cody. He has been standing out for the Falcons. It is going to be a loss of about 4 yards, maybe 5 on the play, so we'll bring up 3rd and about 13.
You're right, Zach. He has really stepped up, and we've seen him step up on that goal line defense as well, which has been the best thing for the Brownsville Falcons here tonight. Holding the Vikings to a missed field goal attempt at that one point in time before the first half ended. It's been a great presence by the Falcons' goal line defense.
So 3rd and 13 now for the Vikings. 5.5 minutes left. High snap, handoff up the middle. Falcons able to take him down. About a 6-yard gain, maybe 7. So bring up 4th and 7. And Mount Pleasant's punt team is going to come out. I believe that's the first time all night we've been able to say that, Cody.
Yeah, Mount Pleasant's the Mount Pleasant Vikings still have yet to punt in this game. And with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, the punt team takes the field for the first time, as well as the Brownsville return team is taking the field for the first time. So we're going to see a play that we haven't seen yet here today.
It looks like the returners for Brownsville are number 5, Marcel Scrimps, and 21, Kyle Little. They are back to receive the punt. It's a very short, wobbly punt. It'll be taken down by a Mount Pleasant defender at about the 34-yard line. So average starting position for Brownsville throughout the night. So the Falcons with 4.5 minutes left, just under that. The clock continues to run, Cody. So not a lot of time Brownsville to work with. If they could get on the board, that'd be good for them. But one way, we've had an excellent broadcast, one way to keep up with that and the rest of our programming is go to cutv.calu.edu and watch our live stream, or also go to YouTube where we post highlights. Also full games now this year, Cody. It's a great way. I'm from Georgia. Good way to have my family watch all the programming that we do. I'm sure it's yours as well, and the rest of our crew, to see exactly what we do each and every week. And it makes such a great experience here at CUTV.
Yeah, it's a great way to outreach internationally through the internet and with the live streaming. It's the future. The future of technology is on the information superhighway.
And now another botch snap. This one picked up by Fletcher, though, and he takes it for maybe no gain. So bring up about 2nd and 10. That's a weird play right there, Cody. Roebuck botched it. Fletcher picked it up. And I think even Fletcher lost it at the end, and Roebuck ended up with it.
Fletcher looked like the Batman that we saw during the marching band's halftime show. More or less came to the rescue, picking up that ball really quick. You know, it was a great effort there by Fletcher. but the Brownsville's marching band featured a Batman show, and that's exactly what Fletcher looked like.
Yeah, it was a very entertaining show. I'm sure you saw that during halftime. If not, go back and look at it when it's on YouTube. We have another handoff to Fletcher. He is upended right around the 40-yard line. Looked like he had some more room to work with, but his feet are taken out from below him. So with 2:45 left, it's going to bring up about 3rd and maybe 6.
Yeah, it looked like it was a little bit of a half hurdle there we saw by Fletcher, if you will. The trying to hurdle over a guy on the ground, but able to, looked like sneak an arm up in there and trip up one of his legs, and that caused him to spiral in the air like that. But Fletcher doing anything that he can. It could have been another touchdown for the Falcons if he broke away.
So 3rd and 6 now for the Falcons. 2:15 left in the game. As we have a handoff to Stafford. He has some room up the middle. He breaks it to the outside. Devontae Stafford with all the room to work with on the sideline. He is going to go into the end zone. So Cody, Brownsville comes alive in the fourth quarter, and they get on the board. It now stands 55-12. We might see Brownsville go for 2 and trying to make it an even score. As we actually see a scoreboard malfunction, they give the points to Mount Pleasant. I'm sure Brownsville not very pleased with that. They want the points that they earned.
Yeah, well, they have since corrected it. It's now reads 55-12 in favor of Mount Pleasant. But I noticed that scoreboard malfunction too, but luckily they got it corrected to eliminate any confusion. But still, what a run there. We're seeing now the Brownsville Falcons running game come alive, almost as if it were how the Mount Pleasant running game was earlier on in this game. You know, they're really coming alive, breaking away for all those big runs and scoring touchdowns on them.
So the extra point opportunity arises now for Byron Myers, as the extra point is up. And it is good. So 55-13 now. Brownsville getting on the board. And when we come back, we'll have the final 2 minutes of action here at Redstone Field on
CUTV is your home for local high school football action. Sundays at 8:30, Thursdays at 5:30, only on CUTV.
You're watching CUTV, California University Television.
And we are back. Brownsville with some points here in the fourth quarter, making it a 55-13 game. The mercy rule still in effect, though. We have 1:58 left as kickoff is away from Myers. A long kick taken about the 13-yard line by Mount Pleasant returner. He tries to work his way outside, and he will. And he gets finally taken down at around the 36-yard line, so a gain of 23 on the return. With 1:45 left, though, Cody, we were talking during our break. It's good to see Brownsville get on the board. Such athleticism in their touchdowns as well.
Yeah, they do have a lot of athleticism, but like you were telling me, they just didn't seem like they were able to use it to its fullest potential. You know, the defense for the Vikings has been really, really excellent all around, if you will. And that's really what stopped this Brownsville athletic offense. And we're starting to see it come alive a little bit here in the fourth quarter with them putting 13 points up on the board.
Absolutely, Cody. We have 1:12 left now. I'm sure we won't see very many plays here. We might see one or two. We actually will see a knee being taken. So this game is about to reach its close, as it's been a very interesting contest. Mount Pleasant leading 48-0 at halftime, coming out scoring again during the second half. Brownsville, their defense started getting it together late in the first half into the second, and their offense came alive as well. And this is a team, counting this one, has lost 17 in a row. Mount Pleasant stays undefeated. They aren't that far away, I don't think, defensively, for being a team that could possibly compete and win some games.
No, you're correct, Zach. And it's the like you said, you were talking to seeing how they wanted to get that rebirth, if you will, to get back into the competitive nature that they had a few years ago. They're on the verge of that. They just got to get this losing streak off of their minds, and I feel a couple more wins will be very healthy for them.
Absolutely. That is all for us here on CUTV's Football Game of the Week. For the rest of the crew, Cody Jeanette, I'm Zach Lamar. Thank you for joining us. Mount Pleasant with the victory, 55-13.